Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. And welcome back to the Operation Hill 100 Hearts channel where we do what? Focus on healing, humor, and hot mother freaking topics. If you are here and tuned into this segment of my channel, that means you're here for the hot topics. And in this hot topics section, we're going to do a show review. Today's show review is Love and Marriage Huntsville. If you're not familiar, it's a show that comes on Saturday nights on the OWN network. It comes on at 8 p.m. and they are actually in season number 8. So let's get into episode number 3 show review. It starts off with Miss Nell and Melody playing pickleball. Now, what I can see about pickleball is very similar to tennis. I had no idea. First of all, I never even heard of pickleball until that whole shit with Jamie Foxx, right? But in any event, from the looks of it, pickleball can be very similar to tennis. But one thing about it, that old lady, Miss Nell, was hanging with Melody, boy. They was hitting them balls and swinging and running and jumping. I actually like that sport because I'm a person who needs a lot of cardio because I have a heart murmur. So my doctor is always encouraging me to, keep my cardiovascular system in good condition. And cardio is one of the ways that I can do so. I'm actually going to begin swimming next month, but maybe I'll incorporate pickleball or tennis or one of those things into it as well because that's a good way to keep moving around. And I'm not going to lie, it looks like it's a lot of fun, right? So let me turn this off. So, in any event, they was playing pickleball. They slowed down to take a little break, and then Melody did what she's gonna do the entire episode, which is ask Miss Nell, girl, where was you at the podcast? So Miss Nell started hemming and hawing, and she was like, well, I ain't really come because I was like out of town, and then being out of town, I had missed the tickets, and then when I had missed the tickets, I ain't want to make it seem like I was begging and borrowing, so I ain't want to call you. It was just a whole bunch of bullshit. So Melody was looking at Miss Nell like, okay, girl. Okay. So because they started having conversation and they stopped playing pickleball, Miss Nell took that as an opportunity to ask Melody, girl, well, what the hell is going on? Because I saw Martell get locked up and they said, you the one that got him locked up. So what's going on? So Melody took the time out to do a breakdown of the events that took place that led up to Martell's lockup. I told y'all I am so checked out of Melody and Martell's issue that I do not have the energy to explain what happened. Please go watch the show. I can't do it. But in any event, she explained to Miss Nell what the issue was and why she got him locked up. Miss Nell was like, you know what? I personally don't subscribe to getting black men locked up, especially because Melody, you know what I went through with my son. But from what you explained, you did have a legible reason for doing so. So I could understand that. She was like, and also because what's taking place with Melody and Martell has something to do with online drama. Nell kind of took it a little personal because she's having her own online drama with Lexi, Chris's daughter. Right? So apparently Lexi is going around doing interviews, calling Miss Nell side chicks and sneaky links and everything else under the sun because when Miss Nell got with Chris, Chris was still legally married. Now, what Miss Nell did explain was that Chris was legally married when she first got with him, but she had no recollection of that. He had not shared that with her. But they didn't get serious until he got divorced. What I'm guessing is that Miss Nell moved in on Lexi's mother's turf, which is why Lexi has some animosity towards Miss Nell. And she, from what Miss Nell explained, has been making that animosity very public in interviews. So you could see, because Miss Nell gave me the vibe that she was a little young Thundercat. She don't give me, she was all somber and sweet and nice. Miss Nell give me, she'll get with your ass. And she give me the way she was moving up and down with that pickleball, that she'll still get with you right now. I think the only reason that she's, keeping a hands-off approach with this situation is because, of course, it's her husband's daughter and she doesn't want to cause that friction between her and her husband. Right? So you could see she's really like frustrated about it, but also hurt. And so Melody took that time to console her and so on and so forth. But one thing that Miss Nell brought up about Martell and Melody's situation that had me saying, I got to go check this out, which she's not the first person because Marceau and Maurice did the same thing. They brought up, what was that? They brought up whatever interview that Martell did with the blogger. And everybody was like, that wasn't a good idea, and so on and so forth. So the way Melody explained it, it seems as though the interview that he did, he was making an attempt to go in and slander Melody and make Melody look bad and so on and so forth. But it seems as though it might have backfired on him and made him look worse, which is typically what happens when they're going through things. I'm so tired of these. Oh, my God. But anywho, So, like I said, Melody chose to console Miss Nell about what she's going through with Chris's daughter and so on and so forth. And was like, listen, don't try that. I ain't get no tickets. I ain't want to call you bullshit again. We friends and you need to holler at me. Right? And then one of the things that I liked, and then Miss Nell, of course, apologized and was like, I won't do that again. I know I played myself, my bad. Which I like the way that went through, because most times when Melody, when she get into something with somebody, it always leads to they not fucking with each other no more. And granted, it's not always Melody's fault, but that is most times what the outcome is. I like that her and Miss Nell was able to kind of work through it. And one of the reasons why she said that they was able to stay on solid ground too was that she appreciated that instead of Miss Nell making assumptions and then going popping shit about her and Martell's situation, she appreciated that Miss Nell took the time out to ask her what happened so she can give her version of the story instead of just hearing what the tabloids are putting out there. So I was like, okay, all right. And then they moved forward with that. Next scene, they showed Stormy, and Stormy was going to meet with her friend Latricia, right? Sorry, guys, when you're talking a lot, you gotta drink a lot, right? I mean, okay, Latricia. So they're friends from back in the day, and Latricia and Stormy haven't been hanging as much, so they was doing some catching up, and Stormy brought up her surrogacy journey, and what's been going on with her life, and blah 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 blah. Latricia is a personal trainer. Right, so her and her husband, her boyfriend, because they're not married yet, they're into they're like fitness gurus. They personally they train each other, so on and so forth, right? So when they sat down to start talking, Latricia was like, okay, girl, but what's going on with, she said she saw Destiny and Tisha at the gym. And she was like, well, what's going on with you and Tisha? Because Tisha asked me to start training her, but it seems as though you guys may be a little rocky. And I don't want to get that started and you, my friend, and y'all not on good terms, and that becomes a little awkward for me. So let me know what's going on, right? So Stormy was like, well, I mean, me and Letitia don't have any direct beef. She kind of got like indirect saltiness with me because I called her husband a bitch, right? So I have to be honest. I don't necessarily want to say I totally agree with Stormy because I also think that a lot of Marceau's antics is to be entertainment for the show, but the character in which he chose to play to convey those antics can come across like a bitch, right? So if I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to say that I think Marceau is a bitch. I'm going to say the character he's chosen to play on the show represents a bitch, right? So Stormy to some degree, I concur, right? But she said, listen, I think it's a good idea for you to train Tisha because really and truly me and Tisha don't really have no smoke. She just got indirect smoke with me because I called her a bitch. So I think you training her would be perfect. She said, but what you need to do is make sure Marceau is not in any vicinity of you training her because as soon as he get involved in the situation, it all goes south for Letitia. So if you're going to train her, just train her and keep the cancer, which is Marceau, away. And to some degree, I agree, right? So then Latricia started sharing her life and how, she's into the gym life. And the reason that she got into it is because of all of the pain that she went through in her last marriage. And she needed a way to convey that frustration in a positive way. So she started working out, right? And working out gives her life's purpose. And, some of the stuff that most gym rats say that I definitely can agree with as well, even though I'm not a gym rat per se. Right? And then she started talking about that failed marriage. And she started talking about how in love she is now with her new boo. Her new boo is Ken. Right, and how he's opened up her eyes to getting married again, and how he just has her seeing love in a different way, and yada 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 yada. Right, so I thought that was nice. I was very happy for her. Right, they had a nice little dinner together. That was cute. Stormy, you did something to your nose. You did something to your nose. You did something to your nose. Now, I don't follow you on social media or anywhere else, so I don't know if you made it public that you were doing something to your nose, but you did something to your nose. You absolutely did something to your nose because, to be honest, yeah, you did something to your nose. You did. I don't know if you got a nose job. I don't know if you got fillers. I don't know if you fucking I don't know if it was different makeup. I do not know, but that's not the same nose from before, Stormy. That's a different nose, okay? So maybe I'll go snoop around and see what you did, because that's totally, now you have like a pointer finger before you had a fist. So, you did something to the nose, Stormy. Anywho, in the next scene, they roll on over to Stormy and Courtney, which is Stormy's husband, car shopping. And you can see they have similar tastes in cars, because they started going looking at all of these vintage old cars. And I just was looking like, are y'all serious? But you could see they both was getting so aroused and turned on by what kind of car this was and the make and the model. And to me, I'm looking like, if they don't get them fucking Batmobiles out of here, but okay, whatever. I do know that some folks are very much into vintage cars. My boss at my job loves vintage cars. One of my best friends, he loves vintage cars. Me, I don't have time for it. Give me the motherfucking new. Okay, so anyway, also you can see that Courtney and Stormy are a match made in heaven, right? They've really gelled with each other, because Courtney is cool and laid back, but Courtney is also very slick mouthed. But he's the type of person that you got to get to know he's like that, as you can see. Because it took him an extremely long time to loosen up on camera. And even now, he still has his moments where he's very withdrawn and he just kind of plays the back. But when you do catch him in his elements, which is every scene when it's only him and Stormy alone, he be popping hella shit. And I be cracking up, because as he going, Stormy going right with him, right? So it's so cute to watch. So they was there talking about the cars and what they could do in the cars and da-da-da-da. And it was so cute. It was so cute, right? So then they started talking about the surrogacy process. And when they started talking about it, I mean, what I got from it pretty much is that they were on board with it, right? At least Courtney. Courtney was like, okay, listen, you the woman, you the one to get the ball rolling. You set up the appointment, I will show up. You jerk my dick, the cum will come out. Like, you just set it up and I'll show up, right? So she went in her confessional and said, I think Courtney is hesitant. And I'm looking at Stormy like, Stormy, unless they edited something out, or unless you guys didn't film something, it pretty much looked like, from what we saw, Courtney was like, just set up the fucking, I think you are hesitant. And you're trying to blame it on Courtney. And I think your hesitancy comes from, the fact that someone else will be carrying your baby. And I don't know if you're 100% comfortable with that. At least that's how it conveyed on the TV, through the TV to me, right? So I was like, girl, Courtney looked like he ready, and it looked like your ass is scared, right? And I'm not gonna lie, me personally, I also have some reservations about surrogacy. As a matter of fact, I'm against it, but what I will say is this: I am 42 years old, and if it gets to a point, because I've never been told by any doctor that I cannot have a baby, right? And I have had 1 miscarriage and 2 abortions. If I get to a certain age and I'm ready and I'm told that I can't, then hey, I don't know what options I will explore. But if you're asking me right now while my GYN is telling me I'm in good shape and can make it happen, I have feelings surrounding surrogacy. Again, I don't knock anybody else's choices. I just know me personally, I don't like it. Right? And again, if you are knowledgeable about it and want to enlighten me some, I'm always open to listening and sharing. Let's drop that in the comment section and have some dialogue about it. I'm here for it, right? Like I always tell you guys, I do not delete or debate. Everything here is up for discussion as long as it's not disrespectful. Okay, so let me ask a question, and you guys can let me know, because I didn't pay enough attention, because I never really liked Stormy before. But at least the character she plays on the show. What does Courtney do? Does he work for Stormy? If I'm not mistaken, I think at one point they was trying to say something like he used to be an ex-athlete, but clearly that part of his life is over. So what does he do now? All right. So you guys drop down in the comments and let me know what's Courtney's profession. Okay. Okay. Then they flash to the new couple, which is Latricia and Kim, right? And I mean, they make a nice couple. You can look at them both and see they are gym rats, right? They both came from 2 previous relationships. They both have children from those previous relationships. Latricia has a son and a daughter. Ken has a daughter that's not biologically his daughter, but I take it that he was with the woman long enough and built a good enough rapport with the little girl that, according to him, that's his motherfucking daughter. And I respect the fuck out of that, Ken. So I was like, okay. So Trisha was just basically sharing with Ken that, I met up with Stormy. It was was so nice. We had dinner, blah, 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 blah. I forgot to mention that Trisha some type of way knows Courtney. They went to school together or something like that, right? And she was just talking about how, for a long time, because Stormy was saying, like, I didn't even know you had a man. I was so shocked you got a man. And she was like, yeah, I pretty much kept it quiet because, I just didn't want to get the backlash. I was still trying to navigate how to be a divorcee and be in a new relationship. So she was like, I just pretty much, left the drama out and kept everything to myself, right? So then she started to give Ken the 411 about, Letitia asked me to train her and I'm going to do it. But, her and Stormy are not seeing eye to eye because she called Letitia's man a bitch, blah, blah, blah. And Ken was like, listen, go train the young lady and stay out the fucking drama because I don't want to hear it. And I was looking at Ken like, Ken, do you realize that you guys are on a reality show and if you have no drama, you would be just like Tiffany and Big Lou off the show. So it would behoove you to allow her to insert herself in some drama because other than that, they will tell your ass sayonara like they just told NECA on Real Housewives of Potomac. So anyway, yeah, like I said, and I was just looking, saying, it would behoove her to get in some drama and not Ken, because like Tiffany and Lou, they played with Tiffany, and they definitely played on Big Lou head top. Ken, yeah, the way they played with Big Lou, they ain't trying that with Big Ken. Big Ken said it ain't no big three, bitch. It's just big me. So I promise you, he will fold Martell, Marceau, and Maurice like a motherfucking lawn chair if they play with him. Because Ken is not here for play. He is not here for play. You can look at the stature and see Ken has been bench pressing. He will bench press Marceau, lift up Maurice, and slap box with Martell. So it behoove them not to play with him like they played with Lou. Because they're going to have a different type of monster on their hands, right? But in all fairness, Ken did say that he knows some of the fellas and they seem fairly cool, yada, 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 right? They would seem that way to him because that motherfucker looked like he could lift all three of them up simultaneously. But then they started talking about marriage, and you can honestly see that they are in love. They both got in a confessional and saying how much the other reminds them of their parent that nurtured them and took care of them. And, if they've never seen or had another person in their life treat them how that parent did until they met each other. So it was just really nice how they expressed their love. So I would like to see how that relationship keeps going because Ken is like, listen, I'm just ready for you to say I do so we can get the ball rolling, right? And she's like, no, I'm ready. So, you know. Anywho, then they flashed to Melody, Letitia, and Kimmy having a date night out. So I didn't really understand what this date night out was, if they were planting plants or making plants or I don't know, but they went to a flower plant shop. I was like, okay. I'd have been looking at my motherfucking homegirl like, bitch, I just got a Russian manicure, which I'm waiting to get right now. If you think I'm putting my motherfucking hands in dirt and soil, you get ready to get cursed the fuck out. Where's the margarita, sweetheart? So, yeah, I don't know why they chose that date. Obviously, Melody was the one that chose it. Oh, well, right? So, when they came and they sat down, Letitia started talking about their trip to South Africa. Because remember, last time, Marceau carried his ass to Africa by himself, said he needed some alone time. I know you fucking lying, but see, that's the character that he plays on the show. That's the antics That is the antics. And truth be told, he actually went on that vacation when they weren't filming. So it might not be a character for the show. He may just be a bitch and an asshole. Who knows? Okay. Well, anywho, she started sharing about the South Africa trip. And Kimmy shared, oh, God, this made me. I'm like, what the hell? Kimmy shared that, because Kimmy rung the bell and the hard part of her breast cancer journey is done, right? It's just a matter of keeping it. I think it's either in remission or completely gone. I can't remember which one she said, but she's good for the most part. But then come to find out her mom got diagnosed. I was like, oh my God. So, her mom was staying with them for a couple of months and she was taking care of her. And, that just hurt me to hear that right after they was able to come through another situation on the other side, that here we go again with another one. But I'm not going to lie, that's pretty much the way adult life works. That is pretty much the way adult life works. After you pack up and kindly put away one situation, another one comes tumbling off the goddamn shelf. And you like, this closet ain't going to never get clean with the amount of shit leaking out of it, right? Okay. So, anyway, here we go again. They brought up, they wanted to know what happened with the whole Martell getting arrested. And once again, Melody rehashed the story, and I checked the fuck out because I did not want to hear that bullshit. Anywho, when I checked back in, it was another question that got on my motherfucking nerves, which was, why didn't you come to the podcast? Now, this part right here. So, anywho, right? When she asked about them coming to the podcast, Kimmy got right to it. Kimmy was like, listen, I don't have time to be dealing with those mellometers. It's one thing to be harassed online, and it's another thing to have them sitting in your face doing bullshit, and I'm not here for that bullshit. They can be mean, and I didn't want to deal with it. Now, in my personal opinion, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys can go back and watch episode either 1 or 2, I believe it was 1, Letitia expressed that was her exact same reasoning for not going to the podcast. But when she was in front of Mel, one of the things the reason she said she didn't show up was because she didn't receive an invitation. And then when she got in her confessional, a personal invitation from Melody. And then when she got in her confessional, she proceeded to say how the last event that she didn't get a personal invitation to, which was a couple of seasons ago, I actually remember this, and she showed up at, Melody got her escorted out. So because of that, moving forward, Melody would have to personally invite her places because she would not be embarrassed about that again. And when I thought about that, I said, nice motherfucking try, Letitia. Nice try. Nice motherfucking try nice try in rebounding, right? Because what I also think is you weren't going to say anything, and then you got thrown off the rocker when Kimmy used your motherfucking excuse, so you tried to come with some other bullshit. But my thing was, why did you lie? Why didn't you just flat out say, when your folks are there, they can treat me a certain type of way, and that affects me, therefore I don't want to deal with that, which is why I didn't show up. Melody has to like it or she doesn't. Either way, it's your reasoning, and you can stand 10 toes down in it. But I've always felt, and this is just me personally, and this is from season 1, I feel like there is some animosity from Letitia towards Melody because she's the woman that you want to be, right? And you always try to make it seem like when you're up against her, you're so strong and you're so dominant and you're so business oriented and you're so all of the things that she is, because you know that you really feel small in her presence. And I think the reason why you didn't want to tell her that what the mellometers say and do to you hurts your feelings, because you didn't want to show weak in front of Melody. Because when you was in front of Kimmy, you said that. And Kimmy agreed. So if that is the case, why didn't you just say that in front of Melanie? Why did you change your reasoning in the ending of the game? So I'm looking like, and again, that's why I said nice motherfucker try, because Letitia, that reasoning you came up with was perfect. I remember the episode when you and her wasn't on good terms and she got you put out the event and all that. They even went back and showed it, right? So you rebound very motherfucking quickly and very well. But I just wonder, was it the truth? Because initially, that's not what you said. That is not what you said. And the Aquarius and Kimmy was like, listen, girl, I don't got no time to beat around the bush. Let me let your ass know why I didn't show up. But I think the only reason why you didn't want to say that, because I think that you feel like you would have looked weak in front of Melody, and you make it your business to try to show her that you're just as strong as she is, dominant as she is, business oriented as she is. You can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. For some reason, you feel small around Melody. And I've known that since the first season. And then the first season, you were okay with sharing that and trying to build yourself up. But when you saw Marceau wasn't happy about that, instead of you just saying, listen, I have to do what I got to do for me, but I can still be your wife, you tried to make it seem like she was a bad person when she was actually trying to help you be your own woman. And I wish folks would stop making it seem like you can't be your own woman and be in a relationship. You most absolutely certainly can. And a man that loves and respects and values you will actually admire that about you. Marceau don't want you standing up on your own too. He wants to control and navigate every single thing. At least that's what it looks like from the show. So anyway, I was looking at Letitia like, girl, go on with that bullshit. So after that, They also said, they also went into how Sonny basically was saying like the crowd was very nasty and it wasn't a good space. So Kimmy was like, that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to go. And Melody was like, that's bullshit. The crowd was in a good space, except not with Sonny because she stole Destiny's fucking man and they were jumping on her ass about it. So I was like, okay. So, and she didn't like being held accountable because in her mind, she don't have time for that. Then next thing you know, I didn't really pay attention to how it shifted over to Destiny, but the conversation shifted over to Destiny. And from that part right there alone, you could tell that Destiny and Melody don't have a hope in hell to be friends. Because she even made a snide comment where whatever she said about her was so nasty that Tisha and Kimmy was basically like, oh my God, Mel, come on, it's not that serious. So one of the ways that Kimmy tried to convey how unserious it was she was like, come on, Mel, you act like she slept with your man. It's not that deep. Melody was like, I don't know what the bitch did. I was like, ooh. Now, let me say this about that. I mean, I personally like Destiny's character that she plays on the show because once again, like I tell you guys, I don't know these people personally. I only know what I see on the show. In my personal opinion, I know that Destiny and Melody are not friends because of a larger issue, but take that off the table. The way Destiny and Martell engage as Melody, I would feel away. Now, what I got from watching prior seasons is that Destiny is really Martell's friend. That's how Melody met her, right? So, by no means do I think that Destiny and Martell should end their friendship because Melody and Martell are not together no more. Number one, no, because I don't have to end friendships I don't have to end relationships because you end them. And number two, because he was my motherfucking friend first. Why I gotta stop being his friend because you're not his wife no more? So I don't think that. But I wonder if with how flirtatious and weird the energy is between them now, was that the same weird and flirtatious energy when Melody and Martell was married? And my thing was, if the energy was weird and flirtatious when they were married, Destiny, you was a hoe ass bitch. That's dead ass wrong. And if it wasn't, and it just started when they divorced, you still a hoe ass bitch because now you trying to fuck my ex-husband. Because I'm not gonna lie, every time I see them, and granted, in all fairness to Destiny, Martell is who is always initiating the kind of flirty, weird energy and behaviors, but it's never completely shut down. It's always like laughed off. Like I remember, I think the last thing he said to Destiny was something like, how her son looks just like Uncle Martell or something like that. And then he said, I wonder how that happened. She, bitch, no, let me tell you something. I have a male best friend. I'm 42 years old. He's older than me, so we've been friends for 42 years old. There is no weird energy. There's no flirtatious energy. There is no sexual tension. There's nothing related to any of that between him and I. When I had a man and when I didn't have a man. When he had a girl and when he didn't have a girl. You know why? Because we're just platonic friends, right? And when you start being weird with a motherfucker, that's how the energy starts to shift and things start to happen. So when Melody made that comment, I mean, it was shady as fuck. But for me and watching the show all these seasons, it wasn't far-fetched because I've been peeking at Destiny with that too. I'm sorry. That's the way y'all play, bitch. But again, I'm... Listen, I don't play with my motherfucking man. Everybody know it. So, it was crazy. So anyway, when she said that little snide remark, Tisha and Kimmy was both taken aback, and then she started kicking Destiny back in, and then the episode went off. So I was like, oh my goodness. But it was fairly good. I liked it. I didn't see much or any of Destiny this episode, and I'm really here for her being back on the show, so I want to see how this is going to go. I didn't see Sonny and Moses this episode either. Very little or Soul, very little or Maurice. So things are starting to shift, and I can honestly appreciate that. But from what I'm hearing, the Love and Marriage Huntsville ratings are low. My thing is, I don't even necessarily think it's low because the show is really corny. I just think when it comes on Saturday night at 8 o'clock, people are outside. It's fucking June damn near. People was outside. people still partying from the pandemic. Like, so that's an awkward time for it to be on, but I don't know. In any event, what I will say is my motherfucking views is up from this review. So I just want to thank you guys. I want to thank you guys so much for the support. My new subscribers, welcome. I hope you are entertained. You will get many facets of my personality on this channel. Please let me know which one is your favorite, which one you enjoy, and what you want more of. In any event, I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy your holiday weekend, and please, by all means, be safe.